5 ways to make a mummy with your own hands. We have a very interesting issue today, a kind of DIY. We present to you the top 5 ways to make a mummy with your own hands. Number 5, the mummy of a best friend. A good way of making a mummy is sublimation, that is, rapid dehydration of the product. A hot, dry climate and hot sand have perfectly sublimating properties. The human body consists of water by 90%, and it is the culprit of decay. People who were living in warm climates and buried their dead in the sand gave their bodies a long afterlife. A resident of Yemen has decided to make a mummy of a best friend in this way. The fact that his old dog that lived a long life died, Michael Fix could not come to terms with that thought. He made a grave in the sand for his 4-legged friend so that later, when the body of the animal will dry, he will get in the form of a mummy. However, regulations have been violated and the mummification process failed. It was decided to leave the corpse of the dog in its sandy grave. Number 4, Iceman. The most affordable way to long-term storage of a corpse is the freezer. Ice instantly freezes the body and stops the decomposition process. Not so long ago, the ice mummy man was found in the Alps, laying on the ice more than 5,000 years. Obviously, the man stayed for the night in the mountains, but he was frozen over and died when he was sleeping. The archaeologists were very pleased with the find, the mummy's body that was preserved in perfect condition. Here is a case recently occurred in Russia. An old grandfather died in one family, but his wife decided not to bury her husband to get the monthly funds that accrued to him. She put his body in a bag and buried it in the snow behind the house. While the corpse was mummified in the snow, grandmother continued to receive money for him until the need of private presence of the man for some procedure. And then it all came to light. Neighbors and employees of the bank were alarmed and the woman confessed in everything. The corpse was found in the snow. It should be noted that he was well preserved in the cold and had not begun to decompose. Number 3, embalming. This method is familiar to many people. The mummies were made in that way in Egypt. All the insides were getting out from the bodies, impregnated with a solution of natron mixture and stuffed with straw, after wrapped in bandages. And we hope that you have no fresh corpse beside. We are offering to make a mummy of fruit, such as apples, in this way. Fabricate natron mixture, find recipe online, and place in a plastic bag, then an apple on a stick with a carved mug on it. Put it in approximately for 2 weeks. Natron dries the apple just as it would the human body during mummification. Natron dries the apple just as it would the human body during mummification. The original mummy will delight and frighten your guests upon the expiry. Number 2, smoking. This sophisticated method is used in the Philippines, where the leaders prepared for mummification during the lifetime. Close to death, the leaders began to use a daily salt drink to relieve the internal organs from excessive moisture. Smoke was blown in his mouth after death for disinfection, and then the corpse was smoked over a low heat. At the end, the mummy was dried in the sun. The presence of a corpse is not necessarily for making mummy in this way at home. Mummy is made of clay, and then the resulting figure is smoked over a low heat for a long time and finally dried in the sun. It is easy to store at home or even use this mummy as a gift. Number 1, wire and bandage. Finally, the easiest way to make a mummy at home is to build it from scrap materials, wire, and bandage. What can you do with such a mummy? For example, unwrapping mummies was a popular pastime at parties in Victorian times. The owners who conducted a dinner bought a real mummy, and the guests during a party could deploy it. So you can make a homemade mummy to your party and offer guests for fun, something they will not be aware that just wire would be under the bandages. One boy made a similar size mummy, about human size, and put it in a car a few years ago in the United States. He has traveled many places with the mummified passenger on a nearby chair throughout the day. He shocked all eyewitnesses. Now you know what the original gift you can make for your holiday. Put likes and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.